So there is quite a lot of information still left of the stuff we got from Beyond Blue that's focusing on depression and anxiety. It's interesting that they call it, as a lot of things is depression and anxiety. There's a definite link between the two. Some of our medication we get is also covering both, especially like we talked yesterday about Zoloft. Zoloft is one that focuses on depression and anxiety. And then also some people only have depression with no anxiety, and then some of us have anxiety and no depression. So it's not necessarily that you have both. So we're just going to go a bit of a journey around anxiety, and then we can, if you have experiences or had experiences with it, we can have chats about it afterwards. Right, so let's start. Anxiety is more than just a feeling of being stressed or worried. While stress and anxious feelings are a common response to a situation, okay, this one is normally when the thing that causes your stress or causes the anxiety is removed, you are still anxious, you are still worried, you still have the same feeling. So whatever made you like, you have to hand in an assessment. That assessment causes a lot of anxiety. Once you've handed it in, you got it back, it was successful, but you still have those feelings. That's the sort of thing that we're talking about. We're not talking about every time you get worried or scared about something new. So don't, again, go home and say that you've self-diagnosed yourself and say, I feel anxious today, so now I suffer from anxiety. Right? So it's not like that. It is, and again, as we said with depression, with bipolar, it is also extreme cases. Okay, it's an ongoing thing. It doesn't go away. So anxiety is when these feelings that don't subside, as we say in the notes. It just keeps on. You always feel like this. Okay. Signs. The symptoms of anxiety conditions are sometimes not at all obvious, as they often develop slowly. Right. So we don't always have like suddenly you're anxious. It starts and like you start to get edgy. You're worried. You get the butterflies in the stomach thing. You're always worried about something. You get to a place where you're worried because you're not worried. You know, there's nothing to worry about, so you worry about that sort of thing. It's like there's always, it's just always going on. That's the sort of thing we have. It just doesn't go away, the feeling. The physical is you get panic attacks. Hot and cold flushes, racing heart, tightening of the chest, quick breathing, restlessness, or feeling tense, wound up and edgy. So this is what happens in the body. As we said also with counseling, a lot of stuff happens in the body as a counselor. So you will also have clients coming to you. And if you do the use of self thing and master the use of self thing, is when you have an anxious client, you might also get feelings of this in your body while they talk to you. So, panic attacks, I don't know, has any of you had a panic attack before? Okay, a few of us have experienced this, experienced someone that's got it. Right. Hot flushes, cold flushes, that being really stressed, almost like the hot, cold flushes when you're writing an exam and they're starting to hand out the exam, that sort of feeling. The tightening of the chest, that's if you're getting a heart attack. Sometimes the symptoms of a panic attack is exactly the same as having a heart attack. I personally have landed in hospital twice thinking I've got a heart attack, which was just a panic attack. So it's like everything, all the symptoms are there, and you feel like this is the end. And then you feel really silly when you walk out of the hospital later, and they've done all the tests and all the blood tests and everything else, and nothing was physically wrong. And again, like depression, we said, it's got physical manifestations in your body. Like depression, you've got back pain. With this, it's like you've got this tightening of the chest, can't breathe, feel like you are going to have a heart attack, that sort of stuff. Psychological is you've got excessive fear, worry, catastrophe. Everything is a catastrophe. It's like your kid's late. They go to a party, they come late, and immediately what happens is my kid's not late, is my kid was in this huge accident, and my kid is dying and I need to phone the hospitals, that sort of thing. It's like everything is like extremely, it's over the edge. So sometimes we need to breathe, okay? Relax. When everything is not as bad as we see, obsessive thinking, you're really obsessed about stuff, especially about safety. Like, I come from a country that's got a lot of issues safety-wise, locking up yourself, and almost like in a prison at night before you go to bed, sort of thing. And you have this obsessive thinking about security the whole time. Some people will live in a safe environment and they'll still have this obsessive feeling, I need to be safe. They keep on thinking about it because they think of everything that can go wrong. That's some of it. Behavior, avoidance of situations that make you feel anxious, which impact your study, your work, social life. Some of them is, I'm scared of people. The agoraphobia one, where you don't go to places, open spaces, or shopping centers, or where there's a lot of people. You avoid people because you get anxious. So I once had a client who had this issue, like feeling anxious and couldn't go shopping. So her kids would do the shopping for her because she doesn't go to the shops. So part of the therapy was we would guide her. And our final goal in the therapy was to actually get her to actually go and do shopping. So it's a process. It's all a process of when you work with a client that's got anxiety. It's again challenging behaviors, the CBT process, the CBT counseling approach. So this is a bit of the signs and symptoms. This picture says everything. I think I left the stove on. Gosh, it's really serious, I left the stove on. What if my house burns down? And I can't make tea without a house. So it's like, this guy's biggest issue is he needs a place to make tea in. And this is the sort of thinking that a person that's got anxiety is, left the stove on and my house is going to burn down. Or you'll sit somewhere and it's like, I think I left the iron on. And your whole thinking is around like, I left the iron on. And in your thinking you arrive at your house and the fire trucks will be in your house and it's like there's nothing left. That's sort of the feeling or the thinking pattern of a person that's got anxiety is you always see and think the worst of the situation. Okay, so don't, okay, we sometimes worry about the fact that we left the house on, but this is really, we're talking about extreme. Anxiety is extreme. It's not your normal little, okay, so I left the stove on, that's fine. With an anxiety person is I left the stove on, my house is going to burn down, and maybe the neighbor's house will burn down too, and that's going to be my fault, and they're going to sue me, and I don't have the money. So it's like just one big catastrophe that's going to happen. Right. Some anxiety-related conditions. There's a heap of them. Conditions for 6 months or more. On more days than not, you felt very worried about a number of events or activities. It's also sort of a little bit of a checklist. For more than 6 months, have you felt worried about certain activities? You're just constantly worried about stuff. Okay? Found it hard to stop worrying. You just find you can't stop it. Like you climb in bed and you worry. You wake up and you worry. You're just constantly worrying. You can't. You go somewhere, you watch a nice movie, and while you're watching the movie, you worry about stuff. It's just constantly, you just become this big warrior, in the bad sense of the word. Found that all your anxiety made it difficult for you to do everyday activities. Study, work, seeing friends, seeing family. It's sort of your life goes from out there to very in. Instead of going out, you're always home. Because you're too scared to go out, you're too scared to travel. I know of a guy that got anxiety and he lived in a 3 meter, he would not leave a 3 meter radius or 3 kilometer radius from his house. So he won't go past the 3 kilometer radius around his house. Luckily there were shops in that radius, but he won't go out of it. he was an electrician, and the jobs that he did was he will build circuit boards and things, and people will come to his house to collect them. So he didn't have to go to their places, but still, that's part of his anxiety. It made his world very small. If you answered yes to these questions, okay, and have you experienced 3 or more of the following things? Felt restless or on the edge? Person is always restless, on the edge, like really like edgy, can't relax. No matter how nice the situation is, like always they're always edgy, they're always stressed out, they're always like not so nice to be around with. You get easily tired. Tiredness is quite a big thing amongst all these we've talked about, bipolar, depression, and this is one of the stuff is the tiredness, feeling like you don't have energy. With anxiety is you give so much out in your worrying and your stressing out and tensing up of your muscles and things that you use up all those energy for all these worries. It's difficult to concentrate. You felt irritable. People around you irritate you. Like even if you worry about something little and someone comes around and they're very cheerful and very like happy and whatever, they irritate you because you have more important stuff to do, more important stuff to worry about. And what's great about anxiety is you worry the whole time. So you are irritated the whole time by everyone around you. Muscle tension, a sore jaw and a back. So sore jaw from actually biting on your teeth. So part of that is some people with anxiety also grind their teeth at night. So it's one of the signs. So if you start waking up with a very short jaw, that might also be one of the symptoms of what's happening in you. You've got trouble sleeping, and that's sort of worrying. Like the more you worry, the less you struggle to sleep. Worry is like it influences your sleeping patterns. Also help you not to sleep, have a full night's sleep. There's a lot of restless sleeping happening. It's interesting if you've got a Fitbit. They actually measure sometimes your sleep, and they'll say how many times during the night you were restless. And you can actually measure what's happening in your sleep patterns that way. Have you felt nervous when faced with a specific object or situation? Like flying an aeroplane, flying on an aeroplane. I know people that's got a phobia about flying. One guy actually took classes how to approach the aeroplane thing and fly and what. So there's anxiety classes for that. Being exposed to heights. Who of you is scared of heights? Like really scared of heights. So yeah, that's going near an animal. I know a woman. She's got extreme. When a cat comes close to her, she gets extremely anxious and almost like have a panic attack by a cat. So we don't know what's the cause of this, but it's real. I've seen this lady, she like totally freaks out if a cat comes close to her. Receiving an injection. Who's scared of injections? It's funny, people can be scared of injections, but the same person that's scared of injection can go and have tattoos. Doesn't really make sense here. Have you avoided the situation because of your phobia? You don't go to certain places, you change work patterns. Avoided health checkups. I have a family member who doesn't go for health checkups just because they're scared that the doctor might find something wrong with them. So if the doctor doesn't say you've got a disease, then you obviously don't have the disease. So I think that's how they think, but they've got an absolute phobia of going to a doctor for a health checkup. Right, and find it hard to go about your daily life. Just, you can't do this. life's just getting too much. You just worry about every single thing. Your worry is actually consuming your whole existence. This is more what anxiety does to you. It actually takes over. Like when we talked about depression, and Winston Churchill talks about the black dog that takes over. Anxiety can also take over the way you do and see things. All right. When you get symptoms, when you're getting these anxiety attacks, is a lot of sweating, a lot of shaking or trembling, increased heart rate. As I say, sometimes you get the same symptoms as you're getting a heart attack. Shortness of breath, feel like you're choking, you're nauseous, you've got butterflies, you've got pain in your stomach, dizzy, lighthearted, faint, hot and cold flushes, scared of losing control, scared of going crazy, and scared of dying. Sometimes a person in a panic attack would say, just stay with me, I don't want to die alone. So when I had my biggest panic attack, I actually sat in the street because I felt it's the open place where I need air because I'm not breathing, and at least if I die there, people will find me in the middle of the street, which was a silly way of thinking because I might die if someone drove up me. But you don't think irrational when you get a panic attack because you just want to get out of the situation. So this might also happen with you in your counseling room or your counseling environment. That you'll have a client that come in, and while you're talking to them, they might have a panic attack. So you must just work with your client then, and actually make sure that they're calm. And the reason for the paper bag is it does help them to just relax, because the moment you go into a panic attack, you do not breathe. You'll forget to breathe. And you're so worried about what's going on around you that someone needs to talk you through breathing. So on another workshop, we'll actually talk about all the different breathing exercises, the calming exercises in breathing. Right. The stress when anticipating or experiencing separation from you. Separation anxiety. And we get it a lot with children, especially kids that when they go to school, they cry because of separation anxiety. My brother-in-law had a dog that had separation anxiety. Animals seem to get it quite. They brought the dog over from South Africa when they immigrated, and it had to be in Africa in a kennel for 3 months, and then they flew it over here, and it had to stay here in a kennel for 3 months before they got it. So when they got the poor dog, she had anxiety issues. So every time they left, the dog went crazy. So in the end, they actually had to give the dog to someone that's retired, because they kept on getting letters from the city council because this dog freaks out. So separation or anxiety is also great amongst animals. It costs them a fortune to bring her over to donate her to a retired couple, but it happens. And it also happens amongst people. Separation anxiety is quite a big thing, especially amongst children. Worry about being sick, injured, or dying. Some people are like real hypochondriacs. They worry really about being sick. That's sort of a part of the OCD thing in many people. Don't go there, don't touch this, I don't want to get germs, I don't want to be sick. Today's media or today's TV ads doesn't really help when they advertise our cleaning products, because it shows us how many germs are everywhere, and everything you touch is full of germs. And when you get people with these issues, they actually now see this and see the amount of germs all around us, and that makes them really more anxious. So, right, refuse to go out away from home. People get worried that they might get lost. Like when you go somewhere, let's say you go to the shopping center, and some people might feel like if they go with you in a group, they get lost. It's part of their fear, part of their anxiety. So just work with them. Work with people around you that's got those issues. Okay. Repeated nightmares about being separated. How many of us get bad night dreams and the same nightmare over and over? Any of you get those ones? Over and over the same thing? I've got a great one which I keep on. I've got a nightmare that keeps coming back, is me in a lift that's falling. So that's why I don't do the giant drop and dream out. Because I just keep on falling. And holding on to the sides.
So I was going to say, sorry, I know you're not supposed to talk, but I was just going to say that I have a dream of falling,
Yeah.
you know.
Have you experienced or seen something that involved death, injury, torture, or abuse and felt very scared and helpless? Okay, so this is post-traumatic stress. Another part of anxiety is post-traumatic stress. And we always, when we talk about post-traumatic stress, we always think of people that went to war, but also around us, that can also cause anxiety and stress amongst us. So one of them is, have you experienced or seen something that involved death, injury, torture, abuse, or felt very scared or helpless? So if you go or were in a situation where this happened, if you've seen a great accident, or if you have been involved in something, I know a few people that were involved in some activities in South Africa where they had home invasions and go to shopping centers and stuff where stuff happened. They have post-traumatic stress. So it is normal for you also to have a client that will come and say, I've got post-traumatic stress. So don't think like everyone that walks in went to war. They actually might have experienced something around you. Have you experienced upsetting memories, flashbacks, dreams of the event? So if you've got this issue, you went through this, let's say you went somewhere, huge car accident, and when you sleep you dream of this accident again, or flashbacks or memories, or it's just constant with you, that might be a sign of having post-traumatic stress. You're feeling physically or psychologically distressed when something reminds you of the event. Okay, so I was at an event once where we went abseiling, and while we were abseiling something happened, and one of the people that were with us actually fell and had to be airlifted, and a few days later passed away. I don't do abseiling at all. It's not because there's anything wrong with abseiling, it was a bad experience for me, and every time I go there, even if I see it on TV, I still hear the noise of the person falling. It's still alive and well in me. So that's sort of post-traumatic. I didn't go for counseling for that, so I'm available for any one of you that want to counsel on that topic. But it's all around us. People with PTSD is around us, and they're going to come to your counseling room. And it's going to cost a lot of understanding, a lot of patience, a lot of empathy to work with someone with this. Anyone got an idea? I know we're not really speaking on because it's a video thing, but anyone got an idea what would be a good methodology to use with someone with PTSD? PCT. Person-centered, where we are here and now, we focus on the person, we listen and we ask the person, how do you feel now when you think about that, when you talk about that, when you explain what happened. It's all about bringing the person into the here and the now. So that's what PCT is a great one to use. Thank you. Right, go on, okay. Post-traumatic stress, if you had trouble remembering important parts of the event, had very negative beliefs about yourself, others, or the world, persistently blamed yourself and others for what happened, persistently felt negative, angry, guilty, and ashamed, felt less interested in doing things you used to enjoy, feeling cut off from others, had trouble feeling positive, or trouble feeling positive to emotions like love, love, excitement, things like that. That's all part of PTSD. So if you had this experience and you're going through all these emotions, and you ask yourself, what's wrong with me? I can't get this. Why am I always feeling like this? That might be an issue. Okay, so, and something to talk about. And that's why it's great to go and see a counselor. Counselors are not there only for when we go through trouble times, it's also there for when we just want to talk about what we're experiencing at the moment. Right, that's just my quick spiel on anxiety. Again, we talked about there are different meds for anxiety. One of the most popular ones is actually Lexapro. Is used a lot for anxiety, and also then again Zoloft for anxiety and depression. Lexapro especially goes focused directly on anxiety. So yeah. Okay, this was just a quick introduction talk about anxiety, just to create a bit of an awareness. So I'm going to switch off the camera now, and then we can talk about it, discuss it for the next 15 minutes or so.